Hey friends, welcome back to Watavue Mountain. You guessed it, we're still at the mountain. You're probably saying, hey, you're wearing the same thing in the last video. Yep, you're right, I am, because I'm still here at the mountain. Got that mirror installed. Now it's time to do the trim. Like I said in the last video, we'll do this trim, put the light in, and then we wait to do the floors, and then we're done with the bathroom. So that's it. So today we're gonna do something, I don't know if I've ever seen it before or noticed it, but we got it from cousin Shane and Alex with the trim. Instead of just doing one straight trim piece that's like 3 or 4 inches wide, we're going to do this. And I kind of did a mock-up so you kind of understand what we're talking about. I got a 3-inch piece, a 2-inch piece, and a 1-inch piece. So when it's up there, it'll kind of look like that. And you see it steps off. It helps kind of cover things up, right? Because as you can see up here, we almost have 3 full inches of coverage that will be on the ceiling. So any kind of errors that we made in cutting that tin or anything else up there are going to be covered. And then this piece is 3 inches, so it's going to stick down 3 inches. So I did a mock-up to show the boss to make sure she still liked it. She said she did. So that's what we're going to go with today. So what are we going to be using? Of course, a tape measure, a pencil, the table saw. So I'm going to be doing that myself out here. And what else? The nail gun. And then, of course, the linseed oil. So I think that's it. If I come across something else as we go, of course, I'll let you know. Hey, this is what we're using. But anyhow, thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. I'm super stoked to get one step further and being done with this bathroom. It seems like it's been an eternity. We've been working on this bathroom, but you know, slow and steady wins the race. And I'm gonna have to go slow and steady today because even though I've already done the measurements, 62.5 by 72 3/4, there's gonna be some tweaking, which you'll understand as we go. So the plan will be I'm going to put up the 3-inch pieces all the way around, the 2-inch pieces all the way around, then the 1-inch pieces all the way around, just to make sure that everything butts up real nice, looks nice and smooth and even, and I don't have any crazy wonky gaps because, again, this is the finish work, so I want to get it as close to and tight as I possibly can. So now, thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. As always, we're blessed to be doing this. We're blessed to be on this journey and to have you along with us. We've really been getting a lot more comments here lately, and I enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with you all, getting your feedback, positive and negative, and learning as we go. And we're glad and thankful that we can share our mistakes with you so that hopefully you don't make them whenever you endeavor on your projects. So enough of me rambling. Sit back, relax, get yourself something to drink. Let's get to busy. Okay, first things first. Brought a couple boards out that don't have a bunch of checks or giant knots in them. I know the knots and all that stuff is real pretty, but this trim work is gonna get thin. So, you know, if we have cracks and all that kind of stuff or big knots in it, then it's a better likelihood that it's gonna crack or disintegrate eventually. So, I forgot to mention sander. We got a sand too. So, I'm going to square off these ends first because I want to make sure that we're doing, you know, good measurements. So I could use the pencil and do all that, but I'm just going to take this at the edge here, use my speed square as my guide, and just rip this off. Same thing with this one. Make sure I'm down far enough, nice and square. All right. Then I'm going to rip off my measurements. So 62.5 inches. Now I could just go ahead and rip this whole board down, but because I'm here by myself, if I can work with a smaller piece of wood, obviously that's what I want to do, right? I don't want to try to manage this, whatever it is, 10-foot piece of board. So 62.5. come and make our mark at 62.5. .62.5. Okay, we're still good. And now this board is almost 10 inches wide. So before I cut it here to cut it there, I'm going to go ahead and sand this whole thing, because I'll be able to get 3 pieces out of this. I already have one that I made for the mock-up, so I'll be able to do 3-inch pieces out of this board by itself, and that put us in good shape. So we'll fast forward through this, but sander, I forgot to mention, we need a sander. I'm using 80 grit, just because, like I said, this has a little bit of dirt and stuff on it. It's been sitting in a barn, and trying to get it as clean as we can to accept the linseed oil. All right, nice and smooth there. Still mostly have my line in place there. Let's rip this down. All right, now let's move over to the table saw. Let's see how bad this goes. Okay, so first things first with this table saw, I'm gonna get the depth of the blade set. So see how that just sticks up just a hair? So you can release here, and then that spins up and down. So no need for it to be sticking up that high, right? And then that's too low. So we just want it to crest over just a little bit, then we lock that back in place. We're still set at 0. That's set good, so we're good there. Now here's our measurement wheel. So you see, as I roll this roller, the fence moves back and forth. So we want to get that bad boy out to about 3 inches. And then over here's our lock. We're going to lock that in place. Now that doesn't move. And now I'm going to grab a tape measure and make sure we're right at 3 inches. So there you see, right at 3 inches. Same on the front, same on the back. All right, now let's get this puppy fired up and get us some boards cut. All right, so I looked down the edge. This seems to be the straightest side. If you've never used a table saw before, this is probably not the best video for you to watch to begin with. But essentially, there's only one way it can go, right? You have this, I can't think of what this is called here, fin. I just call it a fin. There's a real name for it I can't think of right now. But that's going to separate the board after it cuts. So obviously you can't come this way with the board or it's not going to cut. So yeah, so then I'm going to try to keep this nice and tight against the fence. I got my little pusher, and let's see what happens. make sure we're at 3 inches. Right on the bingo, boingo, bongo. All right, let's try it again. I'm learning. That time I did not reach up there to try to catch it. I don't like messing with the blades. Make sure we're at 3 inches. Yep. Yep. All right, last one. Three inches. There we go. All right, now let's go inside and then, let's see. Linseed oil or go inside? Stay tuned. Let's see. Got ahead of myself on that one, didn't I? I do not need 4 boards that are 62 1/4, whatever these are. I only need 2 because it's for the ends. I need longer boards for the other side, but that's okay. The great way that this works out is, so even if you're using a 6-inch board, whatever, one by pine, the math breaks down, right? That it's a 3-inch, 2-inch, 1-inch, you get it all out of the same board. Now I got it a 3-inch board, it's not really 3 inches, all that, but it'll all come out the same if you cut them all the same, if that makes sense. It might come out 3 inches, 2 inches, and then 3/4 of an inch for the last one, or, you know, 1 inch and 7/8 for the second one, however you want to do that math, but you get the point of what I'm saying. So the good thing is, now all I got to do is adjust this back, come back to 2 inches, and now with one cut of this board that I just cut at 3 inches, I'm going to have a 2-inch board and a 1-inch board, because I know this board is actually 3 inches. So even though I kind of screwed up, I kind of saved myself, if that makes sense. And then I guess it's saving me a little extra work. I don't know if that really works out that way or not, but either way, let me cut these 2 boards down. Then we'll be completely done with 2 walls. We'll cut the boards for the other 2 walls, linseed oil everything, and then we'll go in and make our final adjustments, because it'll be easier for me just to touch up some linseed oil if we have to cut a board or 2 than it is for me to do linseed oil while they're up on the wall. So let me just, I'm going to keep cutting. I'll show you this one. I'm not going to show you the rest of all the boards that I'm going to cut. You already understand the principle. Square off the edge, measure it out as far as you need, get your cuts done, and you're good to go. So, but I'll show you how this pans out right here. Like I said, I'm set at 2 inches, so now I'm going to make one cut. I'll get my 2-inch board and my 1-inch board. Well, if I can figure out which side is which, there we go. So there you go, 1 inch, 2 inches. So I'll do that on that other board. I'll cut the other ones down. We'll do the linseed oil out here. I'll show you that, and then we'll get inside and get these things buttoned up. Okay, so a little different than we did with the wood, right? I figured it'd be easier. Everybody said, oh, you should just do it like this. And then that way too, I can get the edges a little bit with the linseed oil. So, you know, you got to get what you can get. A little rusty can, but hopefully all this is all good on the inside. Let's crack it open and find out. Still just using a paintbrush. I'm going to just pour some in this homemade little cup that I got here. So I blew this all off with a blower, and then I also wiped it off with a rag. That little stink bug likes it here. Sorry about the heavy breathing. I got some kind of congestion. And then just coat it on there. And then hopefully with this lighting, you'll be able to see the transformation. It really is amazing to watch this wood come to life, become a totally different color. And you can almost see the wood just suck it right in. Just kind of smooth it out. Make sure you don't have a bunch sitting there. And again, like we talked about before, this isn't like stain. So even if it runs, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be okay. You just don't want it to pool. That's the key. Just don't have it pooling. All right, that's simple. Probably not best to have it in direct sunlight, but that's what we got. So now I'm just going to grab a rag, maybe a paper towel, and try to wipe off the excess if there is any. Paper towel is probably not the best choice. So lint-free rag. Can't go wrong with the blue OR towel. Just trying to wipe the excess off, like I said. Maybe rub a little bit in. You see, I mean, that pulled a little bit off. It's just oil. So it'll be all good. So I'm going to let this dry, get something to drink. And then, like I said, I'm going to hit the edges, these edges, once I get everything up. Because I'm going to have to cut them, some of them anyhow. So I'm going to have to go back and hit those edges too. Which could get kind of tricky, especially if this is still wet. Then I have a bunch of sawdust in there. So we might have to see how that plays out. Hopefully this will dry enough that the sawdust won't stick to it, but time will tell. Let's wait for this to dry and then we'll keep on going. So, I know you're probably wondering, wait a second, he just totally switched out. Yep, you're right. I'm sitting here, as you can see, I'm editing this video right now at home. And by the way, I forgot that I had made this video, so I think I did this in October. So that's why I'm wearing short sleeves and it's nice and warm outside. Anyhow, as I'm editing this video, I realize I can't fit everything that I did that day, get the installation and everything all done in the same video, because this is still going to end up being about probably 25-minute video. So I decided to go ahead and cut it here. It's been a while since I've had to do that. We've been doing pretty good, kind of figuring out our time, how much time we're spending actually working. That'll cut it down into, say, a 30-minute video. So I'm cutting it here. So this is really just, as you saw, the cutting and how we're building, what's it called? It's called the Art Deco style of trim or molding, depends on which way you look at it. I think it's technically molding. So that's what we did. So I'm cutting it here. Now you see how we did it. Pretty simple. You can take a 6-inch board. We had those rough cut boards, so they were longer, they're wider than 6 inches. But essentially, I cut down 4 boards for the same length for each wall. Then 2 of those boards, so I cut 4 boards down to 3 inches. Set 2 of those boards aside because they were going to be the base 3-inch piece. Then you take the other 2 boards, you cut a 2-inch piece and a 1-inch piece, and then that makes your 2 and your 1 for the Art Deco. So pretty straightforward there. All right, battery died. Sorry about that. So making that Art Deco, 3, 2, 1, pretty straightforward. And then the linseed oil, as you saw, I did it outside just to make it a little bit easier. But either way, we're making great progress. So stay tuned for the second part of this video, which will be the installation of these boards now that we have them cut. It was just as simple as it looked. Probably should have been smarter with that table saw and had something on the back side to catch those boards instead of them just falling off the deck. But we made it work. So yeah, so there you go, making tracks at the mountain. So thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. As always, we love that you're here with us and we can share all this experience with you. If you like what we're doing, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon over there. Look up this way. We're going to post another video, something related to this. Let YouTube pick it. So that's where we're at. So thanks for your help, Dexy. I appreciate you today, buddy. And until next time, be safe and God bless.